This week on Trek, because I promised it last week, we take a look and see how the KDF pet commands work.
It's okay. Ah. 11 piece of equipment, and then special reserve, and then you can choose between your Mako and Omega ground sets. The Omega ground set is more tactical, less defensive, and the Mako is more defensive.
Ooh, a ground one.
It wasn't intended, but here it is. We'll do space next.
Okay, let me switch to my weapon stuff.
I think I'll put some armor on.
Put some clothes on, Sarah.
It's kind of cold on this ship.
The Ambassador class. PvP ship? You may think not. But I'm about to prove so. Having survived the last match only dying once, and having killed once, I believe she may be viable with the correct tactics and the correct parts. But that is up for you to decide.
Okay, so Jupiter Force has had a party on their starbase to show off the season Tier 4, which is pretty cool. And this is the party on the instance inside the base. There might be a few people outside still. I'm not sure. Sure, they're making their way inside, and this is what we're looking at now. So we'll see people later. This week on Trek, we look at the Carrier Command Pet UI. Okay, we're going to be working on seeing what the carrier pets do in regards to the Fairjay frigate, and I've either got slavers or skull fighters. I think I have whatever I have equipped. I believe I have slavers, Orion slavers equipped, but I do have skull fighters. Also, I have noticed that the Fairjay frigate also fires out skull fighters. So, about that, a carrier carrying carriers. But anyways, of course, the Fairjay may be a hybrid and have just the one hangar deck. But here we go. I'm going to do Fed Farm 102. We're going to go to the first map. I'm going to release the guys. If I can get it done and can get some STF or a fleet defense mission done with this particular, we'll see how well these work on the KDF side. As you see, fighters and shuttles have up to 6 slots available, and there are 2 slots available for something like a frigate. I'm going to start killing. In we'll pop a Typhoon class, and when we see a particular error show up here in a minute, when I fight a Prometheus class here on the KDF side, even after it's exploded, if it's already shot its multi-vector mode off before I blow it up, I'll still have to deal with the gamma and the alpha sections, vectors as they're calling themselves. But the Prometheus itself actually, the center section actually blows up. I believe this is correctly backfilling as needed. I haven't tried it, the backfill with the Fear J, Bar J, however you want to call it. Yep, see? Okay. Now this one's actually, I haven't killed it before. And now with this, yes, it already separated legitimately. And I have the additional vectors. But should not these count and need to be killed before the next cycling comes in? Oh, look, that one actually disappeared even though I hadn't blown it up yet. So maybe something's working on itself. Let me discard some of this junk. Yeah, I know, not a very empty deal to begin with, but I like my stuff. I'm a hoarder and deal with it. So, there we go. Yep. Armitage is almost dead. Armitage, there's another Typhoon class. Throw a little gravity well on him. The next guy to come out will get sucked into the same gravity well. Let's see. Take me some items. And go to map 2 of 4. And before I start the next map, I will pop the inventory back open and discard those 2 rows of stuff. I don't miss out on anything, I just have to delete them and take a little bit longer in the mission because I'm deleting or discarding. Okay, like I said before I start the map, I'm going to come here. I'm going to save those parts. So you guys say, no, I'll get rid of them, but no, I'm going to save them. Eventually I'm going to buy the space so I can put those guys on active duty if they're any good, as they are at least science and engineering officers for the KDF. Let's see. Yes, this week we did happen to miss the audio podcast. Unfortunately, I got stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire and had to deal with that. And by the time I got in, it just wouldn't have made any sense to go ahead and mess with an audio podcast. So this week there's no audio podcast to go along with the show, but we're going to be working on it. If you can go to trackradio.caster.fm, listen, and if you like us, give us a vote, 100 votes or more, and we can record the shows. We record the audio podcast or any interview we might do on one of the shows. Maybe we'll have a roundtable discussion of some sort. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to have us discuss in a round table, or who you think we ought to interview at Cryptic, or if you know a fleet admiral, perhaps your own fleet admiral that you'd like us to interview, or you'd like us to interview your fleet period, give us a holler. We'll get it set up. We've got a Mumble server, and we could no doubt set up a discussion, set up an interview, and talk to some people. We would field some questions. In fact, maybe select the dev at Cryptic that you'd like us to interview, and submit a question for that dev, or for a particular department. If you don't know the exact dev for the department you're thinking of, be it systems or art, or the writing department that writes the missions, plans out the missions. I think they all take a turn in it, but maybe you want us to ask Daniel Stahl some questions. Go on ahead and send us some questions there. I'm going to have 2 Furrier J's out and 1 wing of those slavers. I may move them to Skull Fighters if I do get into an SDF or fleet. Well, Prometheus got it. Yeah. There are some ideas. What kind of a segment would you like to see in a show like Trek? What oh, now it's just not letting me. Ooh, is that a bug? It's not letting me pop out the next set. Or am I on a server not respond? There we go. I must have had a server not responding for a second. Usually it pops up and says so. Maybe it didn't realize. Pop out another one of these. Ooh, there's a Typhoon class. He's awfully close. We're going to add 13 of 14 on map 2 of 4. Let me see. We'll get rid of those stabilizers. Yeah, so just, tell us what kind of things you'd like to hear us talk about. And I will get some of my friends to sit down, and we'll research what you want us to talk about. We'll, if it's a game mechanic, we'll play with the game mechanic, and we'll have discussion from both sides. Those of us that like the game mechanic you want us to talk about, and those of us that hate it. Or who knows, maybe it ends up we all like it, and we just think you're crazy for not liking it. But we'll give our argument and listen for yours. But we'll give it a listen. And we'll go from there, and we'll get some discussion going. We'll get a little bit more than just me playing with the character with the new in-game mechanic, or a new update. But give us some ideas of what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to see on track, who you'd like to see interviewed, and what you'd like asked. And we'll run the questions by their PR people. And the name of the game, in order to get the interview in the first place, would be to get a good set of questions, go with the questions that they authorize. Okay, gonna start the map. For the most part, I'd say these guys are working pretty good, doing what you need them to do. Don't know why he stopped to think there, but we'll blow up these guys. We're on map 3 of 4. Maybe this is where that Google I was talking about before for the Hangout come in handy, is interviewing the devs, or even Skype, if I can Skype with them and give you video of them answering the questions. That would very well work. I realize with the audio podcast, it probably really is an oddcast though. You could hear what they're answering, and then if you bother to watch or happen to only watch the video that currently will be on YouTube, I'll try and see if I could host a copy of the video somewhere that y'all could download the video, because I mean I have the videos, and we could get it where you can download a video and watch, or you can download the audio and listen, or you can listen live to the audio. The video is not so much a listen live or watch live. I don't currently have that ability, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I'll have to eventually plan on getting real good professional with podcast. I think this step towards having the audio version that will eventually be downloadable. Um, and I want to thank you if you're a listener or a watcher, if you watch every time you get a chance, and when I've got a new video out on YouTube. I know I had a bit there where I had about a month and a half where I didn't have any video, and I hadn't started the podcast just yet. But we're going to get this worked out. We're going to have, if I'm not able to be there and do it for a particular week, I will have some of my fleet mates from the Mokhtar fleet. I'll have them filling in to do the show. Let me re-release my pitch. And of course, what I'm doing with these guys, I don't have any flight officers, flight deck officers. So, and I don't have any of the officers that help buff pets. So, I mean, obviously, buffed pets are probably going to do a lot better. I mean, I realize there are debuffs that the NPCs can use at certain levels that will negate anything your pets will do. But I still know overall, through most of the content, especially PvE, pets are better when buffed. I mean, everything's better when it's buffed. Okay, there we go. This is one of my least played characters. I mean, he is a Lieutenant General on the KDF, but um, oh, moving right along on this thing here. Okay, so that's the end of KDF Farm 102. Okay. Oh, that Fear J lasted and made it to 3 stars. Um, so let's see, let me hop out of here. Head back there and then I'll check out the PvE events. Oh, that's Be a little bit more than that. Now, I'm negative. So here's what. From a dollar. Yeah, I can adjust it later to match. Hey. Then I'll get them and then. Well, no, because they will. Yeah. See. PvE content and see what's rolling for the KDF today. Da-da-da. Yes, I got the Conduit Elite. Yeah, we go see what this does on the Conduit Elite, I guess. Yep, there we go. Hmm. Oh, I didn't even have them set to attack the enemy either. There we go. Seems like I can double click to get it to take. I always need when I'm on a pug, or in a pug. On a pug, doesn't that sounds like a book somebody like Captain James Tiberius Kirk would write. On a pug. How I spent my year without fleet mates. Okay, let's see. Huh. Everybody's going to this side. Stop over there. I don't have one of those speed thingamabobbers. Okay, let's see. Let's pop another set of both. Okay, just before he pops, let's set them to dock so that they will stop interfering with these guys. These four seem to have the blowing up of these things on their mind. I think I'll just park here and be ready to re-release. Well, I guess my Fear J doesn't park. Okay, let's start hitting it and let's these guys back out to relaunch and start attacking. We'll backfill those sets. There we go. Yeah, that's a backfill. Blow it before those buttholes get over here. Sorry, my little Borg buttholes. Ooh, me myself better pop that one. Since in my stroke of genius I don't have engineering team 1 set. if I can get that guy to pop. Come on. Let me get a heal there. Gonna swap that for brace impact. Or brace for impact, I'm sorry. Gotta do my part as best I can. The Fear Jays I've got are sticking alive pretty good. It's all of those, except for him. I want that surprise nanite. Now, better. Ah, well, shapoopy. Somebody already. Oh, they're blowing those up before the. Ah! Okay, they're gonna end up fucking killing us. We already have nanite spheres out, right? I want that nanite probe behind you, the nanite sphere, come on. Fear J, huh? Oh, there I went, I exploded. Here, we'll respawn and pop back in. Hope we don't already end up losing this. Alright, we're gonna get the optional, I do believe. If I can stay alive long enough, let me phase out. See if I can drop a Fear J. And some more Raiders. Get another wing. So we can wing it and ding it. Ooh, this is going pretty good at the moment. Get another Fear J out. Let me take some items. Let me drop back to 3/4 impulse. Let's have them protect me from incoming. See about the game. Ooh, the Fear J just blew up. Get another Fear J out. Fear J. Defer J. Let's get a replacement fighter there. Which should apparently, yeah, there he is. Okay, just took him a second to show up. See this? Hit my O. And hit myself with that one. Drop that guy. Wow. Drop those guys. And drop this. Drop another fear jet. Here we go. I'm healing up nice. Oh, 7 minutes left to kill the tactical. I think these guys can make it. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this. Nice. 6 minutes left when we blow them up. Oh yes. And 11 Borg neural processors. This guy's gonna move his Borg equipment for a minute. Okay, that's this week's episode of Trek. I hope to be back to audio and video podcast next week. This episode's going to come out a little bit later on Friday, but not as late as last Friday's. And all the excitement with getting everything done last Thursday for the audio podcast, I completely spaced on getting even the video processing started before I headed off to work. So I may need to adjust when the audio podcast comes out, but we will look at that and see what's going on. Again, you got any ideas? You got anybody you want to see or hear interviewed? Send it in. Email me at jukesman, JEWKES man at gmail.com, and we can take it from there. Put in your put in the field there where it asks, what's the message about, say, show idea. And we'll appreciate that. So thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week on Trek. Okay, and then once again, TrekRadio.caster.fm. We're going to have around-the-clock radio, and we're going to have podcasts. We're going to have a podcast on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time to about 3 p.m., so about an hour worth of podcasting with Admiral Sensoji from the PvP Bootcamp. He's going to show you all some PvP stuff, so give him a warm welcome when you hear his voice. Friday nights between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to have Admiral Jamie of the Mokhtar Fleet is going to have a rock show, which is going to involve some rock, some alternative, with a little bit of everything. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes, JJ's Variety Hour, or Variety Time, Variety Show, on Sundays about the same, about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're in the Eastern Time Zone, your time zones are an hour ahead of the times I gave. And if you're in the Western Time Zone, or Pacific Time Zone, then your hours are 2 hours before. And if you're in the general Europe area, or UTC, we will be UTC -6 most of the year, UTC -5 during the summer. So that's it. That's this week's show. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good week. See you next time on Trek.
Alright.